Well, welcome everybody. You can just settle in with the sounds of rain.
So welcome everyone to this special gathering here with the grandmothers and all of us here collectively to honor our earth and all the beautiful wisdom that comes through all of our hearts as we join together in this sacred prayer for this time on earth as we all chose to come here. And thank you so much for joining us and for being a part of this global family of the heart and of loving the earth. I'm holding this heart earth in my hands as we hold this beautiful Mother Earth together today. And we have the grandmothers of the Sacred We here with us joining. And it's always such a pleasure to be together with them. And we also have Heather here joining us today with grandmother Flordemayo. They're going to share about the path today and the work that they do there. Each time we gather, we try to support a beautiful purpose. Last time we did the water protectors, and the time before, we each try to pick something to support, and we really wanted to support the path this time around with the seeds and the sacred seeds that grandmother Flordemayo and Heather and their whole family have this beautiful way of protecting them and bringing that message to humanity. So we want to thank you for being here, and we want to thank, because each of us here really brings this whole gathering together, and that's why the grandmothers call it the grandmothers of the sacred we, because it's all of us, we together here. And so welcome. And this is Akbar, and if you don't know, and I'm Jessica, and we're helping to facilitate this call, and we also want to thank Heather a lot because she helped a lot too.
Yeah, so welcome everybody. We're just so honored that you're all here with us and that we have the grandmothers. We have grandmother Flordemayo and in New Mexico, grandmother Eila and great-grandmother Moetu in Aotearoa, New Zealand, Heather in Boise, great-grandmother Mary up in Minnesota. And so we're just so grateful that they're all here. And grandmother Devi is with us also. She'll be here joining soon. So
and grandmother Percy she won't be with us today. She has to be with her family. So let's please keep her in our prayers. And there was a death in her family, so just we were gonna hold her dearly with us, and brought some of her special cards that she's beautifully created, and we'll read some throughout this call to bring her here with us. So.
Yeah, so we're all here, and the theme of this is celebrating the Earth. Earth Day, and every day is an Earth Day because we're all on Earth every single day, and we're all made of the Earth and the sacred elements: the water, the air, the fire, the land, the space. So let's just take a moment to settle in and remember the planet, and think of the earth, think of the rocks, think of the mountains, think of the soil and all the little organisms that live throughout the soil, making it alive. Just giving gratitude, offering gratitude. And breathing and giving gratitude to the waters that flow through our veins, the rivers, the lakes, the ocean, the rain, the mist, the clouds. And remembering the light and the flame and the fire, the sun, the starlight, the moon, the moonlight, the warmth that glows in every living thing. Sending gratitude out. Sending gratitude to the air for every breath that we share together. Our breaths move across the planet with all the plants and animals. Breathed out, the atmosphere was made by millions and millions of years of lives, relatives, ancestors. And gratitude for the space where all existence takes place. So we want to introduce grandmother Flordemayo, who's a curandera espiritu and a Maya priestess and elder, and she, with her daughter Heather, have the Path, which is this beautiful, amazing place in New Mexico, 40 acres, where they keep seeds. They have a sacred space dedicated to every single element, and they continue all kinds of sacred wisdom teachings. So we want to invite grandmother Flordemayo for the opening prayer, and then grandmother Flordemayo and Heather are going to share for the gathering.
Thank you. Much blessings of love and light to everybody. I want to start by saying that today in our sacred calendar is the day of Keme. And Keme is the word for our crystal skull, our ancient crystal skulls. It is the name in which it is known as Lord Kemet when we speak of the skulls. Beloved Creator, beloved Beauty, beloved Mother, heart of the heavens, heart of the earth, beloved Spirit of all creation, Mother, on this sacred day of Lord Kemet, we are here at this moment, beloved Creator, thinking and honoring also the spirit of Mother Earth, this beautiful, beautiful, living, breathing, expanding planet Earth, beloved Creator. And we, as humans that have been walking upon her from the beginning of time, as we became the children of the earth, our beloved ancestors, the grandmothers of the four directions, placed us in the sacred womb with our first sacred element, the water. As the grandmother prayed, and as we were created, each and every one of us, men, women, children, we were born from this sacred water. And this water is the water of all life. All beginning starts with water. Whether we are placed in the womb, placed in the womb of the earth for the plants to grow, for the flowers to grow, or whether we are placed in the waters, the rivers, the lakes, the oceans, all of that life that lives in the sacred waters. We are one and all the same, beloved Creator. We are children of your creation. Those that fly, beloved Beauty. Those that crawl on the earth, beloved Beauty. We are all here together on the earth. May it be so, beloved Creator, that humanity open its heart and thinks about the future generations, that we become more responsible in helping these sacred elements of life, the water, all water, sweet, sour, bitter, salty waters, all water, beloved Creator. the air that gives us the sacred breath, the breath that is within us, that helps us in a moment of dialogue, that we can use this breath to make sound, to express ourselves, to sing in gratitude, expressing the joy of life, beloved Creator. The Sun, beloved Mother, the spirit of the sacred fire, the fire that calls us from the beginning of life, the fire that spoke to us and taught us our beginnings, the fire represented by the grandfather Sun, beloved Creator. May it be so, beloved beauty, that we, men and women, children, middle age, the elderly, hold all of these elements in our hearts: the earth, the water, the air, the fire, grandfather Sun, and also the spirit and the energy of the grandmother moon, to give us that continuation of life, that momentum of growth, to become better conscious of what is going on and what is happening, what has happened, so that we can correct it for the next generations, beloved Creator. Our unborn babies, we have that to honor the future generations. Beloved beauty, in the name of all of our ancestors around the globe, in the name of the grandmothers of all creation, in the name of all of the beauty, as we stand before you as children of the earth, I thank you. I thank you on this sacred day of Lord Keme, the crystal skull that represents transformation, reminding us that we as human are constantly transforming, that the earth is constantly transforming, but that we hold her in our heart and in our prayers, because the prayers are being heard by all of the nations outside of this physical body. Our prayers have moved us into another dimension. So I pray that we keep the prayers going, honoring all of life. In the name of the great mystery, I thank you. I'd like to share with everyone that we have been invited to speak a little bit about what we are doing at the path on this land of the 40 acres. What comes to my mind are all of these beautiful, beautiful visions that have been given to me. Visions that are of the earth, are of the children, but perhaps what I will share with you is this beautiful awaken experience that I had with an ear of corn. This ear of corn was a Hopi blue corn that was gifted to me. And my dear colleague, beloved friend, invited me to come and say prayers because he was gathering some seeds. And I sat outside and I made a little mound where I placed the corn. And the energy was so beautiful and so perfect. And I remember that I went into this incredible moment where there was this connection, this beautiful, beautiful dance between the energy of the corn and myself. And I sat there with my vision focused on the ear of corn. And I went into a prayer of gratitude because this food, these seeds that were being gathered, it was for the harvest. And it was really, really an important moment because so many people were going to be fed. And so I had this in my heart. And before I knew it, the ear of corn became mechanical. And what I mean by that is that she started to move. It was this very gentle move. And before I knew it, she started to move the outer layer of the corn. The stalk just started to move. And before I knew it, it exposed the ear of corn, where I saw a few of the little seeds. And as she was moving, so were the little seeds. They started to move. At the same time, because I was looking at the corn and behind the corn was my colleague, I raised my vision and I looked at my friend and he was crying. And the little, tiny little seeds had little eyes and a little smile. And they were moving and they were smiling. And it was the most beautiful thing that him and I had ever experienced. And this ear of corn I remember that I took it and I traveled with it all over the world. And I allowed people to hold it, to touch her, and so people blessed themselves with this ear of corn just by touching it. And the mothers and fathers allowed me to touch the children so that they could be blessed by the corn. And I know in my heart that it was a very, very important moment because we as humans have forgotten that connection. And the incredible beauty of something like this to happen, to become animated, full of, beyond the energy from the earth. It was just this incredible moment for all of us. So I hope that you can think about that. And I know that all that is organic, that it becomes alive. And through the power of prayer and our moment of surrender to spirit, it becomes animated. It's just something really beautiful to be with. I wanted to share that much. And at this very moment, I'm going to ask my daughter to share some things of the path.
Thanks, Mom. Let's see. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and show just a short little video, and then I'm actually going to bring us to the website and I'll make sure everyone has the link to kind of show you all the seeds that we've preserved. So I'm just going to take a couple minutes, but one moment, I'm going to see if I'm perfect. And Akbar, you guys are going to have to let me know if you can hear it and see it. Let's see.
The path is a word that is very much of us. We have images
full screen
Okay.
throughout the beginning of life. And the footprints, it is really translates to what we leave here. And the path is the sacred walk that we do between ourselves and our creator.
Something just happened.
Is the spirit of the wind. The mediator is
Wait a
the
minute,
spirit
wait a
of
minute.
the water. What I know.
Hold on a minute. I had it up and then. Hold on a minute. My apologies. Okay. And I think I've got it. Okay. Is that better?
The path.
You have to push share again, Heather.
That is very much of us. We have image.
Okay. Full screen play.
The path is a word that is very much of us. We have images of footprints throughout the beginning of life. And the footprints, it is really translates to what we leave here. And the path is the sacred walk that you do between ourselves and our creator. The mediator is the spirit of the wind. The mediator is the spirit of the water. What I know is what the earth says to me, what the wind says to me, what the birds say to me, what the rocks say to me, what all of nature speaks to me. So I am the listening ear and the one that delivers that message.
The Path is a nonprofit, and our vision is to bring awareness about seed preservation. A lot of times you'll see my mom go to events and she makes little seed bundles, and it's got a seed of corn, squash, and bean. But I think it gets people thinking about where their food comes from. Just like animals, if the seeds die, they're gone forever. They're just extinct. And I think it's bringing this awareness, and my mom tries to weave that into her spiritual events and the mandate that she received, welcoming people to the path.
We've had many, many, many volunteers, very, very dear, dear people that came and gave of their time when they heard the vision. And this is only done because of volunteers. We have seed keepers. We have professional people with over 35 years experience of seed growing. We have people that are experienced in soil over 30, 40 years.
We work with a lot of other organizations or seed keepers that keep these collections. We work with the Rocky Mountain Seed Alliance, we work with the Pueblo and Sasuke, and then many people have a collection of seeds. We store them in the seed temple. It's down underground. There's a full basement, and you got to keep the seeds viable, so they have to stay at that certain temperature and humidity. And we're just there to help organizations or help people and keep those for future generations.
The land here is known as the 40 acres. And so this whole place here has only been created through the guidance of spirit. When you walk and you come through that gate, it is the door of transformation. It's a place of growth. We have to honor the heart of the earth and the heart of the heavens.
A lot of times we'll do open houses, or we collected a whole bunch of grandmothers and wisdom keepers and elders, and we weave together an event, a weekend around spirituality, but we also talk about seed preservation. So I think that her prayer, it kind of ripples out, and I think she also helps let people know that these answers are really within us, that you hopefully leave with empowerment and a sense of love and peace.
My mission here is to love God, because I'm constantly in a state of prayer, surrender, prayer, surrender, prayer, surrender. I just keep on moving. I keep walking on my sacred path, and it doesn't matter what happens on a daily basis. I just have to keep moving. Nothing can stop me. Not words, not actions. Even if a boulder comes in front of me, I will go through it, because I am not of this physical body. I experience who I am in the light, and I will just keep moving. And we have to start thinking that way. We are at the crossroads of humanity right now, and we have to listen. And that's why we have to honor all of nature and take care of it.
Okay, so now I'm gonna see how smart I am. I'm gonna go to the website. Can you see that? Oh, perfect.
Looks
Okay.
good.
All right. And I'll make sure everyone has the link. And I know we're running a couple minutes behind, but I just wanted to show you on the followthegoldenpath.org. You can see the different temples that my mom was guided to create. And the one I'm just going to kind of show today for this purpose is the Sea Temple. And you can kind of go, just scroll on down, and it tells you there's a whole bunch of really nice drop down menus that talk about why the seeds need protection, preservation, different things about climate. So it kind of helps you educate you about the seeds, why they're important. But what's really sweet is you can see all the seeds in our library that we have down there and pictures of them. And if you just click on one, you'll see the glass gem corn. So it's kind of really user friendly. So you can see what all this work is going to, so we've got the different corns into different, I mean, it's really amazing. You could look at the bean seeds. and see all of these different seeds that we have from all over the world. And it really was a labor of love. We've had lots of volunteers. We had one volunteer that photographed every single seed, and then they catalog it. So it's really quite extraordinary. You know, one thing that we really try to do is we do not sell the seeds. So what we do is we give them to people to grow, to give back. So a lot of these seeds, you know, we might only have a handful of, and we try to identify with the seed keeper who can grow it and bring those back to fruition so we have enough. So it's really a wonderful thing. You know, you can also see Mom's Temple of the Golden Child in there, and just learn a lot about what we do as a family. And it's kind of sweet. My oldest daughter, Kaya, who is in the video, is actually the president. My daughter that lives in Hawaii, Bryn, is the vice president, and my son is the treasurer. And then we kind of follow their lead, but we have a whole bunch of volunteers that kind of help us stay where we are. And this is a picture of the wind temple that just got painted. And a really nice thing that happened for us over the pandemic was my brother and his partner came to live at the path. So we've got all this extra help. So I just want to really thank the grandmothers of the Sacred We. I love them so much. And Jessica and Akbar and everyone for letting us showcase our little project that we do in New Mexico. So thank you so much. And we'll make sure that we're going to have a free gift from Mom and I for everyone too. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It's if you have an opportunity after the whole pandemic to visit the path, it's such a special place. So Grandmother Percy is not able to be with us, but I picked this card and she's read this card with us, and I felt like it was very fitting after Grandmother Flordemayo's story about the corn. And as you know, Grandmother Percy, she has always has these little like sayings that she carries, and she has a card deck, and I thought to read this card for her and for all of us for today, to honor the corn and all the seeds and to be strong in who we are. So today I will be as strong and as determined as a stalk of corn growing in a garden of vegetables. I know that my surroundings do not determine who I am, but who I am is determined by what I grow and produce. I will be proud and I will stand tall in my garden. I know that I was meant to be corn, so I will not try to be something I'm not. I will simply be corn. I will honor that I came from a corn seed, that is who I am. Today I will be the best corn stalk in my garden. Thank you, Grandmother Percy, for that.
And yeah, sending lots of love and prayers for Grandmother Percy, thinking of her in these times. And it just brought me right back, seeing all the pictures of the little seeds in the seed temple there when our whole group came and visited you at the 40 acres, and we got to be there with all the seeds and see the caretaking. It's a really special place, and I hope people can visit it someday and can connect and support it. Yeah, just a very special place. Thank you for your prayers, Grandmother Flordemayo and Heather, and your work. And then next we have Grandmother Devi, who's a Sufi grandmother, and she lives in Seattle. And yeah, Devi's does healing with the Sufi healing order, and she's the head of that and helps train healers in that tradition and organizes healing retreats and travels around and travels to New Zealand often, and it helped make a lot of these links for the grandmothers of the We. So just so great to have Devi here with us. Let's bring her up here.
Hi, everybody. I am so happy to see you. Hi, grannies. Hi, all you grannies out there that I don't actually know your name, and all of you faux grannies and grandpas and people of all ages. I am so happy to be with all of you. Yeah, I want to also say that something about the 40 acres, that it is really a sacred place. It is, there are rocks that are standing there. So I'm sharing, I'm building on you, Akbar, because I just remember going there and seeing the rocks that are standing on end. It's like going to something like Findhorn, but it's actually, I mean, like Stonehenge, but it's actually here in North America. And it's built on sacredness and guidance. I remember going there and asking myself, well, where's the seed temple? Because, you know, there's like ground and rocks and the cutest little frog pond right smack in the middle of everything. And so Grandma Flordemayo said, well, it's over there in that building. And the building that she pointed to was the one I was sleeping in. And I didn't see any seed temple, you know. In there was a mat and I was good. And so she opened a door. You could imagine it like a door a little bigger, wider than a front door or a closet, like almost double the width. And there were these stairs that we went down, winding around into this room underneath the ground. They called it a basement, but it's not a basement. It's this amazing, exquisite room under the ground that is a preservation place for seeds. And it is such an amazing thing that exists. It makes me feel a lot more reassured, I'll tell you that. You know, so here we are. I loved your prayer, Grandma Flordemayo, because it just, and what you wrote, read of Grandma Percy's about corn and us all being a seed. We are the seeds of the future. And the emerging, awakening planet is emerging through us right now. So, you know, what do you see when you look outside your eyes? Are you seeing same old, or is there a little bit of ecstasy there, or just the delight in the beauty of the world, or the preciousness of another person, especially the grouchy ones that you don't like so much? I mean, they're a gas. Look at all the energy they build up in you. It's a wonderful thing being alive these days. Yeah. I was talking to Grandmother Moetu. I have to say, typically we all get online a little bit early. And so I'm looking at all of you and wishing that I could like joke around with you a little bit. So this is it. This is my joking. I'm joking with all of you today. So I was like on a retreat until the time that this began, and we were all very silent and quiet, and we were diving deep into the source of creation and letting the divine beauty express itself. And it was a wonderful experience. And then I look outside and here we are. We're all the divine beauty right here. It's just such a precious thing when you look at your brothers and sisters and look at the growing things and the flying ones, and realize that we really are all in it together. We were talking about my teacher just before I hopped on here, and somebody mentioned going to the place where his remains were left, which in the Sufi path we call it a dargah. And I was remembering that above where he's been placed, there's no ceiling there, it's just empty space. And there are eagles and hawks that are constantly flying in a circle around this place. And in his life, he was the friend of the eagle. And he was a caretaker for eagles and hawks. And it's like they do homage to the beauty of his soul, of his spirit. And we can do that. We can be the caretakers. And the ones who see the preciousness in life right now during this time that there's such great challenges. We have been born into a time of great transformation. And along with the earth awakening, all of the creatures are awakening more, including humanity. So what are we going to do with this awakening? Are we just going to kind of flow with it and say, okay, nice day, beautiful time? Or are we going to take some steps to contribute? Every time one of us thinks of the beauty of creation or looks outside and is just awed by the day, it helps that awakening to happen more. Every time one of us says a prayer for the wholeness of creation, it helps that awakening to happen more. Every time we come together, all of us here to do this, it helps that awakening to happen more because there's love. And love is the material that is the fertilizer of life. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking about right now as I look at all of you and see your beautiful faces. I'm just thinking about how gorgeous you are. So I don't want to take up a lot of time. I think, is it you, Moetu? Are you talking next? No, it's Eila, Grandma Eila. There you are in your gorgeous silver beauty. Let's hear from you.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. And to all of you. And I want to take a moment to think of what Grandmother Flordemayo and her family have been gifting us today, not just with her prayer, not just with the way she lives her life, but that sacredness of a seed. I want to think about the seed. So just for a minute, I want to think of the seed that actually created us. That wonderful, wonderful mechanism within our mother's womb that ignited these seeds that created us. So just for a minute, close our eyes and go back into our mother's womb. And feel the seed. And this beautiful sperm that was swimming toward that seed. And the vibration of all creation shimmering with the excitement of the connection of these two magnetic poles meeting. This download of light that came from the heavenly realms. And here we were, this great transformation being ignited in a womb that began 9 months of putting us together. And we had to let go. No mind was involved, no mind except Creator. Ko te pu te more te weu te akaterea. Ko te wao nui te kune te whe te kore te pō. Ki ngā tangata Māori nā rangi rawa ko papa. Ko tēnei te timatanga o te ao. Ko tēnei te timatanga o te ao. We can begin to open our eyes. And like Grandmother Devi said, look at the form. Look at where you've come. Look where you are today. Look at all the 9 months of gestation has brought us to being born, and all the paths have led us along the way, and we've arrived here today. I had a beautiful friend come and visit me, and she came from Islamic tradition. And I said, oh, I've got a prayer. I think it's from your language. I got this plaque and I bought it. I said to her, is this from your tradition? And she said, yes. I said, oh, what does it mean? I have loved it. It's been on my wall above my head. I sleep with it. I didn't know what it meant. And she said, you were so very lucky that it came your way through your teacher, Halima. 4 lines. It said, Ishq. Ishq. Fame, fortune, high lofty buildings, high lofty positions in the world means nothing. Ishq. Nothing. Oh, so then what's the point? And she said, you've come to be of service. That's it. All of us on this call. We're not interested otherwise. Nothing brings our heart to places like this. Nothing would incite us to come and visit and feel the specialness of each other's company if it wasn't this that drew us. And it's love. It's true. Davy's right. It's the watering of that seed, is the love. Oh, it's the fire. I love being around Grandmother Moetu because she's fiery. I love that. So today of transformation, for here at the Shada Center, which I'm very blessed to be living here, with the Sufi philosophy in the bottom, but also with my own tradition of coming from a wonderful Māori, the seeds that made me who I am today. Māori, a little bit of Irish, and a little bit of Welsh. So I'm so grateful for the seeds that brought me here 67 years ago. Just had a birthday. But today here at the center is some 36 people dancing universal dances of peace with a wonderful teacher called Dakini, who comes from Estonia. So I went over to the hall the other night and I bathed in their prayer. I just sat on a chair and just heard them, and they filled the hall and they were singing Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Begin in the name of we, great creator. We begin with the name of the great creator, the mystery. And not one of them needed a mask. And I felt incredibly humbled that we're living in a land where we can gather like this. And we can come together very close to each other and sing and eat and pray. How we did pre-pandemic times. But I also know there's hope, because as if there's an example of it here, I also know that we too can create this for the whole world. Collectively, we pray together. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to have this time for us to experience this time, this time where before the seeds came together, there was infinite possibilities, that realm of infinite possibilities. Anything is possible. We can create harmony in the world. We can create beauty. Well, there is beauty. We don't have to create it. We just have to see it. And infinite love for those of us here, and then our families, and then the planet, then the cosmos. So, my darling family of the heart, and great love to you all. Good morning.
I think it must be me, huh? Well,
I was just going to read one more Percy quote between.
you read a Percy.
Every breath. Today I will celebrate every breath I take. I will give thanks for the sight of a new day and for the sounds of life. Today I will embrace the taste of reality and refuse to take life for granted. Today I will shout, my life is precious and all the people who cross my path are special. Today I will spread love and joy. Today I will not assume that I have all the time in the world. Instead, I will use each precious moment and and waste no time trying to get through life. Today I will get all I can from all of life with every breath I take.
That means I can't go back to sleep after. I got to live life full. Kia ora. Kia ora. Ki te mihi kia koutou. Greetings to you all. I start with my pepeha. Maunga Pohatu is my mountain. Tauranga and Whakatane are my rivers. The blood that flows through my veins. Turawera is my home, my sacred home, my heart home. Tūhoe and Kahununu are my tribes. Aotearoa, New Zealand is the country that I come from. And I am Moetu Taiha. Kei te mihi, kia ora to all of you. I love Flordemayo. I love all my grandmother's sisters. It's an amazing family unit that we've created, thanks to Devi, bringing us all together. But 48 is really, really a special place. If any of you have the opportunity to go there, go and visit. It's magical. Eila and I were really privileged to have spent a week there before we started some mahi work with our grandmother's sister, Flordemayo. And it's a retreat place where there is a nothingness, but there is a total feeling of so much. There's an expansion. It's huge, but there's an expansion there that for me, what I felt was that I was so small, and yet I felt so huge, so big. But it's a beautiful place. And as I said, Eila and I were so privileged to have stayed there for a whole week. And we really loved it until Flordemayo's husband told us to just be careful of the snakes. And both Eila and I are not snake people. We don't have snakes in New Zealand. So after that night, it was every time we went from the trailer to the toilet or to the house, we became really paranoid about the snakes that may be on the ground. Thank God we never ran into any. But it's a blessed place. And it also reminded me, listening to Flordemayo talking about the seeds and Heather talking about the seeds, it reminded me of my mother, because my mother was a gardener. And I so took it for granted. We have like our marrow, but it's called kamokamu, and it's really, really sweet and beautiful, our kamokamu, our marrow. Every year she would keep the seeds, and also the seeds of our like kale and our Māori potatoes, which are little purple and things that were they're beautiful food. And our fruits, our nectarines and our peaches that you actually can't get anymore. And anyway, while Flordemayo was talking, it brought back memories of my mother and how she gathered the seed. And it's not an attribute that I have. But thank God some of the family have kept it for us. So I think about those times, you know, and the seeds and life and being thankful for life. I'm a mother of 4, a grandmother of 14, and a great-grandmother of 6 little boys. So they're my seeds. They're the seeds of what I share. And for me, it's, I think about, once again, my mum, and it's only just because of the sharing that's been done, listening to beautiful Devi, you know, I love listening to her because she has a way of saying things that makes you think beyond the normal. And of course, my beautiful sister Eila, who is my prayer sister, and beautiful people. And Cookum's coming on after, so I love them. But anyway, it takes me back to what I've been thinking about with everybody talking, and I think so much of my mother at the moment now, and I see myself as one of her seeds. Hopefully, I'm a good seed, but she's my role model. You know, when people ask about role models for life, and my mum always comes up, and I always say that if I even have half of her attributes, I will die a happy person. And then we were talking yesterday with some friends. We went to visit a friend who had just come out of hospital. And we were talking about our mothers and our growing up. And, you know, we're talking about role models and, you know, what we liked about our mothers especially, or our parents or our auntie. And I said, my mum is my role model, but it wasn't always for the good things that she did. There were also things that I saw that they're not what I want. And so she also became the role model for the things that I didn't want, the things that I wanted to, is it improve in myself or to not be that, because I learned her lesson by listening to her, and it was not an experience that I wanted to experience. But for sure, there are experiences that I experienced that I know my daughter wouldn't want to experience. So I'm looking outside now and the sun has come up. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful day. And the other thing that came up was, as a child, you know how because it was really cold this morning, and it flashed through my mind visions of me as a child and walking along the road and seeing the puddles of water and how they have ice on top, and then we'd run to jump on it to crack the ice, you know, and these are memories that I have in me, like we all do. And so all of these things that this talk, this sharing from Flordemayo and her prayer and 40 acres and life, you know, I totally understand how so much about what you're going through in America with the pandemic, and my heart hurts for that. And I give thanks every day that I'm here back in New Zealand, and that, as Eila says, we're not having to wear the masks or the the distancing. I couldn't imagine not being able to hold my little mokos, my grandchildren, well, my great-grandchildren, because all my mokos are quite old now, and to smell them and to just hug them and feel the love. Yeah, but this whole feeling of to live life. So I appreciate the reading, Jess, from the card. Yeah, live life. You know, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I certainly know what all my yesterdays were. There's so much that I have lived, and there's so much that I have been through, that I really appreciate living. I appreciate and am so passionate about living. And yes, I was telling Devi and them I'd just done another Zoom session, and my part was about fire. And that all talked about the elements and how the elements of water and air, and we came to fire. And my partner in this part had talked about the elements too. And I thought, I'm going to talk about something different. So I talked about myself as being the fire, and I talked about the passion that I like to do things about loving life, about really, really experiencing and expressing how I love the sun. For instance, I'm a sun lover. I love the sun. But to really feel, to really express, to be able to really be in the energy of the now, to feel everything. Yesterday, I think one of our friends, mine and Eila's friend, she'd just come out of hospital, and she'd had a heart attack. And we have a saying here in New Zealand that, you know, when we've had a medical or close shave to death, we say that, oh, you missed out on a hangi because, you know, I didn't die. And it's not that we're getting smart or anything, but it's like we appreciate life. We appreciate another day. We appreciate that our friend has survived, but there's also that feeling of it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. I'm with you and you're with me in these times, and we'll live. Yeah. And so that's what I think about today, to live. I'm a seed. Yeah, I'm a seed, like Eila said. I'm a seed of my parents. I'm a seed of my grandparents. I'm a seed of life. There's the bell. So, ka kite, have a good day. Kia ora.
Is it my turn?
You're up, Grandmother Mary.
I'll tell you. Oh my God. You know what? I just love my sisters. You know, listening to them, I said to do everything but crying. I had to think of all the funny things that we've done on all our journeys together. And then seeing a lot of the faces out there of many of you that came on these journeys with us. Oh my gosh, we had one heck of a good time. So I want to say welcome to everyone. Oh my gosh, and to all my sisters and this stuff. It's so awesome hearing you. But I also, you know, within those prayers of Flordemayo too, we send the prayers out to our other grandmother's sister that is going through some trying times in that there too. So she's with us too. So I want to make sure we say that. So my name is Second Water Woman. My English given name is Mary Lyons, and I sit in the balance of the 7 generations as I knew my mother, my grandmother, and my great grandmother. And now I sit with my daughter, my granddaughter, and my great granddaughter. So, in order to carry the 3 generations behind me forward to the 3 generations in front of me, I sit in that balance. So we keep that link of knowledge going steadily. For me, thinking of, you know, just listening to everyone talking about the seeds and out there, and of course, everybody knows that, you know, I'm a wisdom keeper, and a lot of them will say, oh, you know, I'm a water protector. Well, we're all water protectors because our spirit rests in water. You know, this body is just a blanket that surrounds our spirit. And we're still swimming in the pools of water, in the pools of knowledge and out there, because we come as a student, walk as a student, we're going to leave as a student. And myself being Madewan, and Madewan is a way of life, and most people go, what is that? And I think in the colonizer world, I think they would say it is religion. Well, we don't see it as a religion, we just see it as a way of life. It's that first breath when you enter the world, and it's the last breath when you leave. And it all determines on what knowledge you learned as a student, and then when you leave. So in order to do that, yeah, the provisions of keeping the seed in out there is in these gardens within this planet we know as Mother Earth. And today is, well, to me, every day is Earth Day. And I just learned something on television this morning that they picked Earth Day. So a lot of the students between their classes and this stuff, and you know, right after this and that, they'll have more time to celebrate. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, what a thing to tell a child, right? You know, we're going to make it convenient for you to take care of the earth. I mean, that's what I read into it this old age. And I thought, what an inappropriate thing to say to a young person. Every day is Earth Day, because you have to nourish yourself. And again, like Moetu said, that we are the seeds of our ancestors. And within those seeds of the ancestors, we have to flourish and nourish ourselves with the moisture and knowledge of our ancestors. See, they're in us and they're all around us. And so, even though we know that spiritual side of us, but this human side of us, this blanket of a body that there needs nourishment while we walk on Mother Earth. And that we have to, is where that importance, that visible, that actual feeling is of those seeds in out there, because those are the fruits, those are the original gardens of our ancestors. Because to myself being Madewan is when we had that original agreement, we came down, Creator put us in the gardens of our ancestors. So myself being in North America here, we're on indigenous land, I'm very fortunate to feel the ground that my ancestors walked on, to know the plant lives, to know my relatives in the waters that are next to me, because I'm in Minnesota, the land of 10,000 plus lakes in that there. So I'm very fortunate to sit within these elements and to know the richness of what's going on. And part of, I think the last time we talked in that there was, you know, to nourish a seed, to keep that seed to fruition and stuff, as well as ourselves and the actual seed. You need water. Everybody needs water. So we have to protect all these elements in order to keep having this conversation. You see, we can't break that link. We just can't. Because if you forget about one thing, then what's going to happen is just going to break apart. Then I heard another thing. There was another conversation that Elon Musk, created oxygen on Mars and this stuff, and we got to go to all these other planets and this stuff in order for humanity to survive. To me, I'm thinking, oh my God, that's BS, because I just keep hearing this. Humans are for profit. I'm so exhausted on that, because what they forget is their original ancestors' gardens of where they were first put. So when you ask somebody, oh, tell me where you're from, they will say within their last immediate 25 years of what it is, and name it, especially here in the United States. They forgot that original knowledge of where their ancestors were really placed at. So when you forget that knowledge of the original seeds and this stuff, you're going to be walking around and lost in all these gardens of weeds that is just kind of, just feeding and feasting away at the beauty. And so I like that when Flordemayo sings or says or whatever she does, it's kind of like the magic of these grandmothers and this stuff. It's just kind of like de-weeding that garden to let that one little seed blossom and come up. And that thought and that power of it is that originality of the beginning, because you're not going to have a future unless you remember that beginning. And I hope that makes sense. Oh my gosh, isn't that something? I just laugh. Anyways, back to what I was saying, excuse me, but I gotta have humor in there, because if you don't have humor in there and you keep being so serious, you kind of forget about the beauty of being human. And I try to laugh every day. I stub it to him. I was going, oh my God, that must have hurt, but what were you thinking? I'll just carry on such a real nonsense conversation in order to take that person's mind off from the pain and to wanting to tell me, shut up, you let me feel my pain. But in the meantime, they don't really realize that they just let go of some of unnecessary stuff. So anyways, I want to read something that I find to be so. My father was very, very important to my life, and so was my grandfather. And they used to always talk, and they would say, some would say they're riddles, but they weren't, because my father used to always say, you know what? Don't do it as I do. Be who you want to be. Because I've already lived my life, and I don't want to see my life again. We brought you here, you know what's right around, to blossom. Because we all can't look like or feel like or talk like or do one thing, but you do know what's right or wrong. So he used to always say these things to me, and I'm going to read this to you. The day and its moments will matter so much more when you allow yourself to matter. Take care of your emotions, your health, your happiness, by taking the time to be selfish with good reasons. The world will keep spinning. The air will keep moving. The warmth of the fires will continue to dance, and the waters will continue to flow. So just breathe in the appreciations and exhale all the garbage of your overworked superpowers of caring too much. Be selfish to declutter your downloads of stored information. Then let the passages of gratitude appear clearly. Now go a dance amongst the universe when you sleep, and walk lightly here on Mother Earth. Water, air, fire, and earth is life. You see, and I think many of you have heard me say, when you come into this world, your spirit's in water, and your first breath, that key that opens the doorway to this world, is air. And the warmth that nourishes you is fire. And home, for just temporarily, is earth. Those are 4 elements, and those 4 elements shows no prejudice to nobody. And I think one of the things that I'm so honored when I sit with my sisters and out there, we all have this melody, this rhythm to reach many of the individuals in this world to help push an empowerment button for you to wake and to find your own truth, to find your seeds, and sometimes that may be having to go back all those centuries to the beginning to know the fruits of your ancestors' gardens so you can move swiftly into the future. Because if you walk into somebody else's garden and start doing their work, it means that you forgot the pathways of why you're here. So we have to really, really search ourselves and find that identity of who are we as the seeds? Because we just can't just keep hopping into everybody's gardens and mimicking of what everybody's doing. We have to feel our own truth. And once we know these identities of truth, to sing the songs of our ancestors, to move forward, because eventually we walk in as a student, we're going to return. And when we return, we want to sing to our ancestors all the stories that they left for us to tell. But forgetting about that path and that past, you may be wandering around still trying to find those original seed givers. My father used to tell me, he said, you need to really think about that, because what's going to be important to you, like in Grandma Percy says, is we believe the first thing. It's the first thing we wake up in the morning and we welcome that breath of life. We say that greetings. And before we go to bed, we exhale all the garbage and inhale just before we rest of gratitude. You see, we are the seeds. There is no escaping. But to take care of us and our spirit, there is another spiritual rim of knowledge of seeds that you take in and you carry from the past and you give to your children, your grandchildren, and this link just keeps growing. But once that link is broken in this stuff, you're going to be hungry for that knowledge. And you're going to seek many gardens. And you're going to eat and eat and eat and eat, and you're going to get overfilled, and you're still going to have that desire to know more. So I suggest, I say to you, as my ancestor said to me, if you think you can't find your way, all you have to do is close your eyes and think, because water not only is life, water carries memory. And there is an abundance of library of memory that is swimming around in this visible seed as an individual. You just have to see, feel, and believe. And that entry will just open up, and it'll be just like that little tiny flower that's in all these weeds of it'll just blossom. I hope that makes sense. But for this old gal hearing this stuff, I sing, and I'm so grateful, because I do get to see the packets of my seeds in my grandchildren. I do know that my great granddaughter will sing the songs of my great grandmother. I know she will carry the links of knowledge forward, because I always let them know. I kind of guilt trip them. I always go, listen here, how much do you love me? I'll say, Gaga, we love you. And I said, no, it's not a matter of telling me how much you love me. I want you to sing me a song like my grandma used to sing to me. I said, when you do that, you will remember once I'm gone of all the happiness I showered you, because I was that water of knowledge that I passed on to you. And you have to carry those seeds forward. So I'm very happy in that. So I want to say Chimigwich, which is in our language, is thank you. There is so much that's happening in this world, but right now we're at a pause. Let's just pause and just kind of do some cleaning of our spirits and the stuff in that there going on. But one more thing I did hear, I was kind of chuckle and laughing and stuff because what was heard throughout time. Oh my gosh, I wish I had more time with my kids. I wish I could do this. I just don't have enough. And that's why I said, this world made people for profit, and they took them away from the unity of family and life. They pulled them out of their gardens. And you have to be really careful. You have to bring your feet back down to earth. You have to know what's important by taking in that breath. So you have to make sure that air is clean. When you drink that water, you have to make sure that water is pure. When you feel the nurturing of the fires and the stuff, it has to be that natural connection with the sun. So those are the realities. They're so simple because that's all we are 4 elements. So once we take care of them, we're going to start taking care of ourselves, and then just watch these gardens grow. But we have to walk and dance lightly within and around the gardens of knowledge and protect these seeds. So Chimigwech, thank you. And many hugs to you all.
So we want to invite Grandmother Eila to sing us into the end of the gathering. And I have a couple more small things after that, but yeah, thank you.
Can I pass, Akbar? I would really love Grandmother Flordemayo to hum us out, if that's all right with you, Grandmother Flordemayo. Can you hum us out, please?
Oh, you have to unmute yourself, Grandmother Flordemayo.
Thank you, Akbar. I'm so glad you're there to help me out. Thank you so much. Let's embrace our hearts so that we can bring this vibration of love from our ancestors to share with everyone, because this is called murmurio, and it is a hum of memory of the love that we experienced with our ancestors, our moms, our grandmas, great grandmas. Close your eyes. Remembering the love. And as we feel the love, we could send this love out. To all of those that need it, all of life. All that exists, beloved Creator. Beloved beauty. beloved earth. Beloved waters. Mountains and valleys. All of life, beloved Creator. Sending this loving energy into the four directions. Much love and light to everyone. Love to you. Love to you. Thank you.
So, beloved friends, dear ones, just to pull it all together, be yourself, love life, know that whatever it is that's happening, this too shall pass. Remember where you were born, the seeds of your life. Feel the beauty of being human, caretakers of the earth, the water, the fire, the air, the mountains, the flying and crawling, the growing, all the living things. Dance lightly, whether you have to wear a mask or you don't right now, we're all in it together. So we're close, feeling our hearts connected, knowing we're walking the same beautiful world. We all love you. We love you.
All the grandmothers on at the end. So we just want to invite all the grandmothers on to, at the end, to wave bye. Say bye. And the link for the support for the path is there. It's in the chat. And if everybody just gives any amount that feels right to give to support, will help this sacred work keep going. So.
You go while I'm in. See you later. Never say goodbye. Just see you later.
Sending you all big hugs.
Thank you, grandmothers. Thank you, Akbar and Jesse. Thank you, Heather.
Oh,
Thank
thanks,
you.
Mom. I love you. Thank you, you guys. I love all you guys, Devi, Eila, Mary, Moetu, Akbar, Jesse. Thank you. And thank you, everyone watching.
Thank
Thank
you.
you,
everyone. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you, Heather.
thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, my sisters and brother Akbar and everybody.
and your kitty cat, Jessica, your kitty cat.
Yeah, I'll get him.
Oh yeah, he's here. He's
Been
here.
with us the whole time.
And sending lots of love to grandmother Percy
Yeah.
and her
Yeah.
family right now. Yeah, so lots of blessings and love, gratitude.
Yeah. Thank you so much
Yeah.
for doing this.
Thank
So
you.
it really touches my mom and I. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just the right thing. Just right.
Hi, everyone out there. Sending you all a big hug. Mwah.
You too.
We love you.
Love
Thank you, everybody.
Bye. Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
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 Okay, we do. We have to hang up. Bye.
I know. I did want to be the first one. I'm waiting for Akbar. And
I will.
I'm out of here.